Patrick Mchenry is the Speaker of the House of Representatives. He was first elected to the House in 2004 and re-elected in 2016. Mchenry is a Republican from North Carolina's 10th Congressional District. He is also a member of the House Committee on Financial Services. Mchenry is a leader of the Republican Conference and chairs the Republican Policy Committee. He has also served as a co-chair for the House Republican Common Sense Coalition. The Speaker of the House is the presiding officer of the House of Representatives. Mchenry is responsible for the administration of the chamber and presides over debates on the floor. Mchenry manages the floor schedule and decides when debate will end and when a bill will be considered. He is also responsible for ruling on matters of parliamentary procedure and keeping order in the chamber. Mchenry is a strong supporter of job creation and economic growth, and has championed legislative efforts to reduce the burden of government regulations. He is also a strong advocate for tax reform, championing measures that make the tax code simpler and fairer. He is a leader of the effort to repeal the estate tax and to reduce the corporate tax rate. As the Speaker of the House, Mchenry has been an ardent supporter of the President's pro-market policies. He was a major proponent of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 and the American Health Care Act of 2017. As the Speaker of the House, Mchenry is also responsible for the passage of major legislation. He is the leader of the House Republicans, and is often referred to as the gatekeeper of the legislative process. Mchenry is a strong advocate for free trade, and has led efforts to expand trade relations with China and other nations. He is a leader in efforts to stretch the scope of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Mchenry has been a vocal supporter of the Keystone XL oil pipeline and has championed measures to make it easier for oil and gas companies to export their products. He has also championed efforts to reform the banking system, pushing for the passage of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. Mchenry has been an advocate for balanced budgets, working to ensure that the federal government is not spending beyond its means. Mchenry has also championed efforts to combat opioid addiction, introducing legislation to increase funding for prevention and treatment. Mchenry is a supporter of privacy and security for individuals, driving legislation that provides better protection for data and information. He is also a leader of efforts to protect the Second Amendment, introducing legislation to bolster the rights of gun owners. Mchenry has introduced legislation to make it easier for small businesses to access capital markets, and to ensure that small businesses have the resources they need to grow and succeed. He has championed efforts to promote energy independence, and has worked to ensure that American products are competitive in a global marketplace. Mchenry has been a leader in efforts to revamp America's infrastructure, introducing legislation that would make investments in transportation and other infrastructure projects. Mchenry has advocated for the development of alternative energy sources, and has introduced legislation that would provide tax incentives for the development of renewable energy sources. He is a strong proponent of reforming the student loan system, introducing legislation that would expand the availability of loan forgiveness and other loan repayment options. Mchenry has championed efforts to reduce poverty and to ensure that all Americans have access to quality health care, introducing legislation that would make health insurance more accessible and affordable. He has also supported measures that would expand access to retirement savings accounts, and to protect consumers from deceptive financial practices. Mchenry is a supporter of, and a leader in, the effort to ensure that all Americans have access to a quality education. He has championed efforts to make college more affordable and to expand access to career and technical education. Mchenry has championed efforts to reduce the bureaucracy and make it easier for small businesses to access federal resources. He has introduced legislation that would streamline the regulatory process and reduce the burden of compliance.